Fake deals behind closed doors, promises broken. Inner income source, hidden agendas run the grand parade. In the circus, choose a masquerade. Believe me, I wouldn't lie. I've been given money, power, and fame to keep you in line. Television screens bright and loud, sell you dreams, make you proud. Pop the bubble, see the cage you're in. Start the revolution, let the truth begin. Welcome to the chaos.
Welcome, everyone. No Damon today. I keep forgetting and putting the wrong intro on, but oh well. Anyways, so today we're going to be talking about female competition strategies, and then we're going to be talking about how they have evolved to use feminism as part of their strategy. So, okay, let's get into it. There are so many ways that females compete for status, resources, and of course, guys, right? Because that's what this is all about. It's about why are we here? We are here to find the best mate and retain the best mate that we possibly can. Both men and women are trying to do this, right? Just men don't have the same strategies as women. So they don't understand the same strategies. They don't understand what we're doing. And a lot of the newer women, they have been brainwashed in society to not understand these strategies that women are using against them, especially like older women using against younger women. And it just so the cycle perpetuates indefinitely because nobody is stopping to say, hey, that person's lying to you because blah, 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 blah. And I'm not saying that I don't do these things. All women do these things to a degree, right? So it's going to be different depending on the individual woman, their individual status, what they want, what they're trying to accomplish, and all of that stuff. So here are some ways. The first one is a pretty obvious one, but women still don't understand when other women are doing this. And it's also a sign of mental health problems. It's like an unconscious sign of mental health problems that women do. And that is when they cut their hair short. So, a lot of girls, when they go through a trauma, like a big breakup, somebody passed away, some sort of trauma, they signal that trauma outwardly by cutting their hair short, dyeing their hair some weird color. It's just like a sign of trauma. So it's usually like in nature, sometimes we grow colors or something like that, or have a signal to say when we're not fit to mate with, right? And one of the things is they cut their hair really short. Also, health, that's a sign of health. The longer that you can grow your hair, the better off you're going to be as far as signs of health. Men like long hair. This is a normal, we know this, right? So when you cut your hair short, you're basically making yourself unattractive. You are taking away a signal of health. You are making yourself look less youthful because we associate shorter and shorter hair with older people. Why? Because as you age or as you become closer to death and get unhealthier, your hair becomes drier, brittle, falls off more. So then you have no choice but to cut your hair short and hope for the best or whatever. Or maybe you have some sort of autoimmune condition that eats away your hair and then you have to shave it or whatever, right? Or go to wigs or all those things. So women will encourage other women to cut their hair short all the time. They'll be like, oh my God, you look great like that. And yes, let's not talk about Halle Berry, the one out of a billion women that still looks good with short hair. Okay, we're not talking about that. And I know the average woman needs long hair. They need it. They look better with it. It's a sign of youth, health, and beauty, period, right? So while there's some women who have exceptionally gorgeous bodies and bone structure to pull off short hair, the average woman does not have these advantages and needs to use every possible advantage that they have. Hence, keep your hair long, right? Now, if you don't like men, do what you want to do. That's why a lot of women who are into women have short hair, because that's also a signal. Like, I don't care about what men think. That's why I cut my hair short. So I want other women to find me attractive. That's one of those things too. Anyways. All right. They also did studies, I think I mentioned this before, on hairstylists. So if the hairstylist finds a woman in the chair as attractive or even a little bit more attractive as them, that's going to trigger their intersexual competition. So they're going to encourage the woman to go shorter, right? Why? Because you're trying to get rid of your competition, baby. It's the best way to sabotage them. So let's do it. So boom, they're going to be like, cut that hair short. Or you're going to tell them sitting in the chair, you're going to be like, I only want this much cut, just the ends. And they're going to be like, sure, I got you. And they're going to cut off that much. Why? Intersexual competition. They can't even help it. It's unconscious. And then they're going to lie to you saying, well, it was all damage. Oh, please. It's not all damage. You're damaged. Anyways, so women need to be careful about that. That's why if you're a woman, get yourself a nice gay man to cut your hair. They're not in competition with you, okay? It's the best parts of going to the hair salon with none of the drama. All right. The next one is, you know how women like to tell each other that they look great even when they're overweight, or if one of your girlfriends complains about, oh, I need to lose a few pounds, and then they go, no, you don't. You're perfect just the way you are. Or they'll try to psychologically like maneuver something like, no, but why would you feel that way? Did somebody make you feel that way? It's not you, it's them. No, because weight is a sign of health, you guys. You are displaying your health. When you were overweight, when you got 15 chins, when you were swollen, when you were holding on to fluids and fat and accumulation of toxin build up, your lymphatic system is blocked, you are not healthy. So you do not have the signs of health. So you cannot attract a mate who has signs of health. The best you can do is find another mate who has no good signs of health, right? So this is why it's important to maintain your health, because health and beauty are one and the same. I don't care what anybody says. You can't be beautiful if you're not healthy. I mean, you can with filters nowadays, because Lord knows they try. They put all the filters on the Instagrams and they tighten everything up and they go, look, I'm beautiful. And people are like, oh, according to your Instagram, you are. So I guess you are, but no. Anyways, so yes, you do need to maintain a good weight. Now, of course, there are people who have eating disorders and it's gone too far and they now show signs of ill health. So they're too skinny, their hair's falling out, their teeth are falling out. We're not talking about that. We're talking about if you have to lose a few pounds, and we all know what that means, like your last 10 to 20 pounds, you know, people are usually struggling with those. Above 10 to 20 pounds, you know, that's a lifestyle choice. Those 10 to 20 pounds, it's usually like some stress. You're not sleeping well. You're not getting enough sun. There's habits that we need to start looking at, right? Or toxin exposure. But anyways, so if you have any weight to lose to be your ideal weight, yes, you are not showing signs of health. You need to check that. And any woman who tells you it doesn't matter, you're beautiful the way you are, or some guys like them thick. No. People who have issues like them thick. The average, I mean, and when we say thick, what guys consider thick is a hip to waist ratio. So like if you have a fuller chest, a fuller bum, that is thick, not a fuller waist, right? There's a difference between thick and thick in the wrong place, okay? So let's stop lying to each other. So if any girl tells you, and you're a girl, you look good just the way you are, you don't need to lose any weight, and you know you do because your gut is overweight or your chins are swollen, then you know what they're trying to do. And they're, you know, we can't get rid of our female friend just because they do this, because this is a natural thing. And I know you're saying, oh, well, I can't be friends with anyone who does this. Everybody does this. Everybody, even you as a female, there's going to be someone who you find too close in attractiveness to you, and unconsciously you might say some little comment or, oh, you don't need to change, you're perfect. Oh, I love that shirt on you when you really don't. Like, stop lying. Stop. Okay. And then you might go, well, I'm just doing it to be a good friend. No, a good friend is an honest friend. Honesty means you're hurting feelings. That's what honesty is. Honesty means fifis get hurt. You do not be honest in public because it's public shaming. That is not a friend. A friend, says, in private, I really don't think that color looks good on you, but look at this color and this color. That's really good with your skin tone. That's a friend. Someone who says it in front of everybody, that's a frenemy. And yes, cut that out. Okay, moving on. All right. Convincing a rival that she is beautiful. Oh, wait. Okay. Convincing a rival that she's beautiful as more attractive women. So that's like when you have a friend who's like, let's say she's like a 4 and you tell her she's an 8 and you gaslight this poor girl that's a 4 so hard that she now believes she's an 8. And now she's going to go out there like the other 8s in the friend group, and she's going to try to get the attention, the guys, the resources, whatever that the other 8 girls can get, because you've lied to her so much. That is dangerous, and women will do this knowing that if we gaslight you enough, like if you're like, let's just say a little bit lower IQ, easy to manipulate, right? They'll gaslight you to make you think you're more attractive than you are. So then you go for guys who you really shouldn't go for. And then you get mad when they don't want to commit to you because they're just using you because it's not a match. And when it's not a match, you're going to get tossed back out into the sea. So that's what happens. So you have to be really careful about women who try to tell you look better than you do. You know what you look like. When you walk in a room as a woman and you see the quality of guys who stop and turn to look to you, that's going to tell you what you are. And it's humbling and it's sad and it's the reality, right? And we just have to live in reality because a fantasy world does not work on the sexual market value stage. All right. So anyways, convincing a rival that they're more beautiful, more attractive will inflate their ego. And once your ego is inflated, it's going to make it really hard for you to navigate who's really a fit for you, right? And you're going to treat people who are a fit for you as beneath you. And we see this so much because of the online social media game. They'll be getting a lot of validation that they're attractive from people who they can't see because it's on the internet. And then when they go into the world, somebody who's a perfect match for them that approaches them, they're going to immediately say, no, get away from me. And I've seen this. I've seen girls do this. And I'm like, oh, sweetheart, I don't know how to tell you this, but I think that guy's like a perfect match for you. I hate to say it, Back in my day, we used to live in reality because there was no filters. There was no nothing. You were hot or you were not, and you didn't complain because nobody was lying. There was no gaslighting on the internet. Anyways, the next one is promoting body modifications, tattoos, piercings, telling other women it's empowering, it's so artistic, it's so amazing, it's beautiful, it's so sexy. No, the type of guys, and I'm going to insult a few guys too. Sorry. The type of guys that are like super turned on by that stuff are guys who have like trauma problems, right? Like they're traumatized as well. So look, it's probably a good match, but it's not going to get you a healthy mate. So girls who, and I've seen this a lot and it's not very good. I've seen girls who have 0 tattoos, right? They're very clean cut looking, telling other girls who, if they stayed clean cut looking too, would be kind of on the same level as them, right? So they would encourage those girls to get tattoos and weird piercings and all that mess too. Just get one of those huge things on your ear that's like, so it's drooping down with a big hole. That's going to look so hot, right? And they do this deliberately, guys. They do this deliberately because they know that now they're going to have to lower their mate value, that now they're going to have to get guys who are more traumatized, lower on the scale, whatever. And women know this. So you have to be very, very careful. And you have to tell your daughters this because it's rough out there. And just because you go through a hard time doesn't mean you have to do body modifications. I'm not going to talk about the studies. I think a bunch of people did podcasts and live streams on body modifications and what that says about your mental health. And yes, everything you're thinking is 100% true. It's usually a sign of trauma, abuse, all the things in your mind that you're thinking, it's a sign of that. That's why people do it. Because when somebody hurts them, I don't know, to feel they have to hurt themselves. It's like a big thing. So look into the studies. You do not want to do that to yourself. If you have gone through trauma, you want to deal with the trauma. You don't want to display your trauma, right? Anyways, the next one is women will spread false rumors about other women being promiscuous, right? Because men will not value a woman who's promiscuous because then they'd be afraid that their child is not really their child and they're raising another man's offspring, right? So this is an instinctual thing to lower somebody else's mate value. And it is not always the case. So that's why some of the most beautiful women will be called this and that, right? So we've all heard this, and it's usually because the mid women or the lesser attractive women are jealous of the attention that that particular woman is getting, so they'll do this. Now, yes, there are loose women. I'm not saying that they're not, and sometimes they happen to be more attractive. That happens, especially these days when there's financial incentive to be a loose woman. But in the past, at least, if you were very attractive, you were less likely to be promiscuous because people usually stayed with you. They didn't want to let you go as easily because it's hard to get a really attractive, decent person, right? That's very rare. It's hard to get. So usually when you get it, you hold on to it. Okay. So the next one is girls will gossip behind a friend's back about their personality flaws, being too needy, too like annoying, too like less intelligent. They'll like make fun of that. They'll be like, oh my gosh, she can't even add, or whatever stupid thing, whatever it is. And that is to lower her mate value, because if a guy finds out that this girl is incredibly attractive, but she can't add 1 + 1, he's going to be thinking unconsciously, ooh, if I have kids with her, they're not going to be able to add. They're not going to do well. They're not going to thrive. So now I don't want her as much, right? So that's one of the tricks that women do. So, and it also erodes the social standing, right? The next one is women will lie to other women about a man's lack of interest in them. So let's say you have a friend group. There's like 3 girls and maybe 3 guys, but one guy is really, really attractive and the 3 girls all want that one guy, right? So the other 2 less attractive girls might tell the more attractive girl, oh, he doesn't like you, or he doesn't find you attractive, or whatever, even though the guy came to the other 2 girls and said, I think she's super cute. Can you hook me up? Does she like me? Blah, blah, blah. Tell me about her. If you're asking the girls' friends of the girl you like anything about the girl you like, you've lost the game, because they're going to lie to you. They're going to lie to you so hard. In fact, they might even try to sleep with you, because women generally are in competition. So if you say to a woman, I like your friend, now she's like, I have to destroy my friend, because there's like a competition thing. There's a hierarchy thing. They can't have you go to them to get to another. They can't allow that. So they have to lower her value or make you attracted to her, right? These are the 2 options, because they can't have the ego hit. Now, I'm not saying all women are like this, obviously, but in generalities, we can pretty much say that. Do not ask a woman about another woman. Never do that. Just freaking go and talk to her. I know it's hard, but she's going to tell you immediately in her face. And then you're going to know. And then you don't have to worry about it. Right? All right. And here's a trick. Oh, how about this one? If you're going up to the girl you really like and you're asking her if she wants to go on a date or something like that, and she says no to you, take it out as an opportunity to switch it. Just be like, oh, well, I'm glad you said that. I just wanted to make sure you didn't like me, because I actually really like your friend. Do you think you can hook me up? So now you've just insulted her and, helping out her friend. And maybe she gets jealous enough about you asking about her friend that she'll start to like you. It's a little mind trick. And I know people hate games, but, it's happening. All right. The next one is falsely complimenting overdone makeup, or like really tacky, trashy clothing that's like mismatched or just looks awful on the body type of the woman. This, again, ensures that the rival woman appears less polished or like a try hard or just like lower in status. Like, and then you can be like, can you believe she's wearing that? Or can you believe her makeup is all smeared or whatever the hell it is, right? So women love doing this to each other. So they will never tell you. And you can test this out. Like if you're a girl, go and smear like your eyeliner like all down across your face, right? Just smear it and go to a room full of your female friends, and watch how nobody says anything to you. That is so freaking crazy. It is so crazy, but this is literally the unfortunate fact of being a woman. Now, I will go up to my friends with like a little tissue and do that. Generally, if I feel like I'm close enough to them, but your average woman is never going to do that, never going to say anything, let you look crazy. If you have lipstick on your teeth, they like it even better. If you have a booger hanging out of your nose, nobody's going to tell you anything. Like, this is just how it is. And I understand if you don't know the person, you're not close to them, fine. But if these are your close female friends and they don't tell you, it is what it is. All right. The next is when you get a little bit older and people start having kids around you, they will insult your mothering qualities, or they might, even before you're like in the marriage phase of life, they might start insulting your potential for mothering qualities, right? In conversation. So they might, around a guy that all the girls kind of like, they might say, oh, so-and-so is like, she doesn't even feed her cats, or she could barely take care of herself. She could never take care of anyone else, or she just eats crackers all day and that's how she lives. She couldn't cook a hot meal to like save her life, stuff like that. They'll mention that in conversations in earshot of the dude to lower her value, because nobody wants to be with a chick unless they're like incredibly hot. They can't like take care of themselves. There's concessions. Anyways, the next is accusing another woman of mate poaching with lies, right? So they might start framing her as untrustworthy in the group to isolate her from their shared social circles. So like if there's multiple social circles that have a few people like in between them and they kind of like jump around like parties with each other and stuff like that. I don't know. We used to have social circles back in the day. I don't know what you guys have nowadays. Probably like Reddit subgroups. I don't know what you guys do, but we used to hang out in person back in the day. It was like the Stone Ages. Anyways, so we would have adjacent friend groups, and then sometimes they'd be a party that was big enough or a location we'd all meet out and hang out. And they would be different stories about this, like, oh, so-and-so stole so-and-so's boyfriend. And then the other girls would ice her out so that she could not be in the group because they'd be afraid of so-and-so stealing their boyfriends, right? And that's basically like the female version of kicking somebody out of the tribe or whatever, social isolation. And it could just be just because you didn't do anything, you never stole anybody's boyfriend, but you're too hot and the other girls are threatened. And one of them is really threatened enough to lie about you to the other ones. And the other ones, because they're scared and their fear response goes up, they're just going to believe it because that's how it works. Anyways, the next one is exaggerating stories about a rival's substance use or addictions, portraying her as unreliable or a high risk for any sort of stable relationship. So this will lower somebody's mate value considerably because nobody wants to be with a drunk girl at the bar because she might take home random strangers, right? Like she's a nutcase. She's a loose cannon. You can't trust somebody who like drinks too much because that's going to be more problems. And then the other guys, when they hear about this lie, they're going to be like, oh, I can't date her because she's like the type of girl who's going to get drunk and then ask me to fight some random dude in the bar. And I don't need that kind of drama. And then he's going to just stay away. And the other girls that started the rumor, they won because now they're hoping that since she's out of the picture, he'd be more likely to hit on them. Right? And now we have another one. Okay. Phrasing derogatory gossip as concern. So what women will do is in earshot of a guy that they like, they will say things like, bless her heart, or she's trying too hard, or it's a shame nothing ever works out for her, or, whatever. So they're trying to pretend like they care, like they're concerned about her well-being by sharing negative aspects about this poor girl, right? damaging the rival's image, right? So they'll be just like, I don't know, whatever lies you can think of. Oh, can you believe that like every guy, she dated broke up with her after a week because, she would just call and scream at him all day because she's insane or whatever. Or she would, I don't know, hear voices, whatever the lie is. I don't know. It could be a little lie, a big lie, but they're going to frame it. And this is the key, as they're good, kind-hearted people. And they're worried for her. It's like, I'm so worried for her. You don't understand. I'm concerned. And they will do this when they sense you like her, right? So watch out for that one. Okay, the next one is deceptively altering one's own appearance on social media to outshine others, and then lying about filters and edits to make your rivals feel inadequate. So some girls will take a group photo and they will cinch in their waist and then bloat their friends' waists. Right? So Miranda Kerr, who was like a Victoria's Secret model back in the day, she was caught doing this multiple times to other Victoria's Secret models. And we all know they all had small waists, but Miranda wanted to make sure that in comparison, hers was even tinier. So she made sure to sink it in and to bloat theirs, which is ridiculous because they happened to also have the original photo. So when they posted it, it was a very clear, obvious botch job for Miranda. So that's mean girl energy. So even if you have like a top tier, beautiful woman like Miranda Kerr, they still could do crazy shit like that. So never trust a photo is all I'm saying. Never, ever trust a photo. The next one is, Joe Rogan's wife also, with her friend group. He mentioned this on a podcast before about how her friend group, and they're all like hot MILFs and stuff like that. So they don't need to be doing this stuff, but that they will actually like Photoshop each other's photos to like look bad, or like pick photos where like the girl who's posting looks great and the other friends look like terrible. Maybe they have food in their mouth or like, I don't know, drooling or something like that. Just like any chance that they get to, they look beautiful and that their friends look like trash, they're going to post that. So that's another thing you got to worry about. It is what it is. Anyways. So the next one is pretending to support your friend's risky behaviors like excessive partying, sleeping around, whatever it is, getting too many tattoos, I don't know, shaving their eyebrows off, whatever the hell crazy thing, habits that your friends are doing, anything like that, they will support it because they know it'll harm her reputation and reduce her long-term appeal. Do you really want to be with a chick that like has like, partied in Ibiza like every summer? Do you really want to do that? Like, I don't even know who she was hooking up with. Oh my gosh. So then now you're going to second guess her. Maybe she never even went to Ibiza if it wasn't for her friend pushing her to go. Nobody knows. Anyways, the next one is fabricating stories of a woman's past relationships, like claiming she was cheated on for a reason. Like maybe she's frigid. She just lays there. She's too loose. Whatever. Women will say crazy stuff like that. And they do that when they think they see you might be interested in somebody that they're a rival with. Anyways, so the next one is undermining by giving false career advice that prioritizes independence over family, potentially delaying her mate seeking time. So this is a big one. So women will encourage other women to go for careers that need a lot of school before you can settle down. And they go, oh, you should do it. You should be this. You're going to be so secure. You're going to get so many hot guys when you're done with med school. You're going to get so many hot guys when you're like a nurse practitioner. You're going to get so many hot, they'll lie to each other because they know if that woman that's their rival goes to school for that long, she doesn't have time to date. She's going to be having to switch from this university to this another city to do like internships. So any relationship she has is going to fall apart all while she's studying. So they know this. So they encourage this. Yeah, go ahead and do that. Meanwhile, like maybe they're doing something local, whatever. And then they get the hot guys that are ready to settle down. Because usually when guys are ready to settle down, they're more looking to do that when they hit 30, right? 30, 35, whatever. That's when guys are like, they're kind of like looking. And if you're over in med school or you're doing an internship overseas or God knows whatever, you're not going to be there. So the local girls will snatch up the good guys. It is what it is. So I have a lot of friends that did a lot of education, or they said, oh, just take a couple summers off in Europe and blah, 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 blah. So while they're off doing that, all the good guys are getting snatched up. And then they come back after a couple years, after being passed around all through Europe. And then they're like, we're all the good guys. Well, they're married with kids. This is what happens. And it was by design, by your frenemies. So be careful. The next one is lying about shared interests or compatibility with men to steer a rival away from potential partners. So if they, let's say this guy likes sports and he loves going to, I don't know, what's a sport? Baseball. Is that a sport still? Do people like whatever? Football. I don't know. Whatever the sport is. The girl that likes a guy, but he likes the other girl, she might say, well, that other girl, she hates sports. She said she went on a date to a baseball, basketball, whatever, football game once, and she had to leave, and she was disgusted by it, that she would never date someone who likes sports. So the guy who's all about sports now is like, oh, well, she wouldn't fit into my lifestyle because I really like sports. And now sneaky girl over here is like, well, you know, I love sports. I'd love to go to a football game with you. And then this dude is finessed by the less attractive female. Be careful. But I digress. I hate sports. So like if somebody said that about me, they're not lying. Anyways, let's see. Oh, encouraging a woman to adopt ugly trends, like a, butch haircut style, under the guise of like empowerment but it's really to make her less competitive in the sexual marketplace. So anything that makes you like, let's just do something simple. There's a lot of women that think that having blonde hair makes them more attractive, but a lot of the girls who tell other girls to dye their hair blonde know that whatever that girl's hair type is a type that if they dye it blonde, their hair will like fall out, get majorly broken and damaged, and look absolutely like trash, right? So they'll encourage girls who have the type of hair that should not be bleached to bleach their hair, saying, but dudes like blondes or whatever the heck it is, because they know that their hair is going to fall out, and then they can be like, oh my God, Becky's balding. Poor Becky, right? To all the guys. And now Becky doesn't look as attractive. Now maybe Sally's going to be more attractive. And then Sally wins. So there's that. Convincing a rival she's too good for a certain man. Isolating her from viable options while pursuing them yourself. So a lot of women will be like, you don't want him. He's trash. He's a loser. He's not even, I don't think he's going to finish med school. He's failing all his classes. And then you come in and be like, be with me. And then this girl's like, really? He's failing all his classes? He's not going to be able to finish? Oh no, I don't want to date that guy. And then she goes and dates some dude in finance. That's safe, right? And now, less attractive chick, she's in. That's how it works. That's how everything works. Everything is about competition with females. It's not about empowering. Empowering is like a fake word that females made up to oppress other females. That's all it is. Okay, so let's see. Deceptively believing one's own kind facade while spreading lies, making the deception more convincing and effective in competition. Okay, so this is like when a girl pretends to be really, really nice. I'm concerned. I'm a good person. I'm really worried about you, while she's spreading lies about another girl. Oh, so-and-so said this and this and this, even if they didn't say anything, because maybe she's jealous. This girl is in the group. She's attractive. So she's trying to get the other girl out of the group by convincing the other women in the group to kick her out, that she's bad news. This happens all the time. Okay, now let's talk about how mothers sabotage their own daughters. So older single moms, and this is like a real story that I've heard from different interviews with musicians, rock stars, all that stuff, that they will have older single moms with their younger, hotter daughters, and they use the younger, hotter daughter to get backstage so that they can bang the band members by selling a 2-for-1 deal, so that these older moms can relive the skanking past at the expense of their own daughters' morals, values, and future. Right? So they'll basically throw them away. So they will use an attractive daughter to do that type of sick shit. So this is one of the ways. Then you have the opposite, on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. You'll have mothers who, this is mainly single mothers or mothers in like really unhappy relationships. They might do this stuff too. And this is when they make their daughters look less attractive by like frenemying them, to keep the attention from moving from them to their younger daughter, which is now becoming hot and now a sexual rival, right? So this is just like female competition it just never ends unless the female is in a happy, stable, successful relationship. It's like the knob doesn't switch over. So it's really hard to be, for a lot of women, to not consider their children as rivals if they're not stable. That is why it is so vital for a father to be in the picture and making sure the wife is mentally stable and taken care of, so that she can then pour good emotions and love and not damaging things to the children. And a mother who is not getting attention or love or whatever from the husband, if they have a son, they also do the devouring mother thing, which is when they kind of make the son the surrogate husband. And that can lead to a whole bunch of things, but that's a whole different thing. So you need to be very careful, the woman you pick to have kids with, and make sure that you can make her happy, because if you can't make her happy, she's going to destroy the kids. This is nature. Anyways. Oh my God, Imperious. Okay. Now let's talk about how radical feminist beliefs also tie into this, right? So now, because of feminism, women have more tools in the tool belt to manipulate and compete with other women, right? So they'll say things like motherhood enslaves women by tying them to biological reproduction under the patriarchy, right? So motherhood is slavery. So that means, because you have to understand, there's a lot of older women now who are single, and they're still competing in the same marketplace with younger women. So like these older women are going to, or like these women that were never picked, right? Like they were just never picked. It was never going to happen for them. They tend to be loud feminists, and they tend to be teachers and counselors and therapists. They tend to do all these things. And then they tell the young woman, you don't want to be a mother because that's slavery. Or things like pregnancy is barbaric and should be abolished through technology to free women from this oppression. So like, don't have his kids. So that kind of takes the point away from why most guys want to get married. Most guys want to get married to have a family. So if a woman goes, I don't want to have kids, now she is out of the sexual marketplace, because most people are in there to have family and kids. Next one is, the biological family is a primary site of women's oppression, right? So basically like making women detach from their families, or like not respect their family. So then if they believe this, then they'll stop listening to their father's wisdom, or if they have a good mother, they'll stop listening to her wisdom, because like they're being told that it's just oppression and you have to get rid of family. You have to dismantle this horrible slavery system. And things like caregiving and child rearing are chains that shackle women to patriarchal control, right? So that's when you have this whole slew of women. They're like, I won't cook for you. I won't clean for you. What are you, a child? I'm not going to take care of you. That's not my business, right? So then those women are also off the marketplace, right? Because if you're a really good quality guy, you have, choice is limitless. So if you see some girl say that, she's out, right? Throw them back in the water. Anyways, the next one is children are a liability imposed on women, perpetuating their subordinate status. So, like, if you have children, you are now lower in status, according to feminists. And this is a way that feminists can kind of have intersexual competition with other women. Because remember, they're not just competing for men, they're also competing for social status. So if a single unmarried crone can go and mock a beautiful young married woman with children and feel better about herself because she's convinced society that because she has a career, she's worth more than the one with the mother, that the one who's a mother with a family, then she wins in some sick way, right? The next one is the mother-child bond is a tool of the patriarchy enforcing women's lifelong subjugation. So that's the other thing that they like to say. It's like, oh, you're going to love your child, but once you love your child, now you're stuck. You're tied to them. And now you have to give up your own wants, your dreams, and your needs for some child, some thankless spawn, some parasitic thing that is just meant to tie you to this man, right? They'll say stuff like that. The next one is reproduction is the root of all female oppression, and that you must be liberated from bodily functions, right? More of the same. Marriage is an institution of slavery where women are owned by men. So they will literally tell a beautiful young woman with children who gets to stay home and raise her own children, that she is now a slave because of it. She doesn't have to wake up, and get yelled at by like a boss or any of this stuff. But boom, now she is oppressing. She's oppressed. Anyways. Then they say things like heterosexuality is compulsory. It's a mechanism of patriarchal domination over women. So, like, you're not really straight. That's just the patriarchy brainwashing you. You don't even like dudes. So that's like the ultimate, like, let's get them out of the sexual marketplace completely. Because a lot of women who've passed their time, they kind of have like a disgust or hatred or jealousy for anyone who's coming up and gets attention. They just don't like it. The next one is pornography is an expression, but literal violence against women, glorifying their degradation. Now, I do not like porn. I do not like it. But I don't think it's violence. I mean, some of it is. Let's be really, but let's say like the good, normal kind where everything's normal, right? That's not violence. It's not ideal if you're in a relationship to be looking at that stuff because it's going to make you not like what you got. But it's a human release. I don't know. I do not agree with it, but I don't think it is violence against women unless it's actual violence. It's different. All right. The next one is that beauty standards are weapons of the patriarchy, forcing women into self-objectification, which is hilarious because the women who are most feminist have the most body modifications, which just tells me like, okay, you're comparing makeup and blow drying your hair to like 50 face and body piercings and a full body of tattoo and shaving your head. What? So I can't. Moving on. Men, the patriarchy, is the foundational system of oppression for all women, regardless what they say. Next is sex is a biological and immutable. Gender is a social construct designed to oppress women. Okay. And let's see. What's another one? That the mother privilege is a myth and motherhood is a foundation of women's oppression under the patriarchy. Forced motherhood through lack of fetus access is a form of state-sponsored enslavement. This is what they say. I mean, it is what it is. All right, so I have and sexual intercourse under the patriarchy is inherently exploitative against women. And that all women are an oppressed class and they must unite against the male supremacy. What? No. Men and women, two sides, same coin. They need each other. And they fit perfectly together because that is the design. Because children need mother plus father to grow up successfully. And you can tell by looking at the children of people who did not have both parents. Anyways, so I don't know what Imperius is saying. Imperius. Oh my gosh. Anyways, so this is just some female competition, how it works. It gets a lot deeper. People lie. But it's just something to think about, how they're using feminist ideals and they're using fake being nice, fake concern, fake I'm just trying to inform you, fake all this stuff. Everything is about this. Everything kind of deals, it all comes down to sex, power, money when you think about it. So what's the motivation? Okay. Always look to somebody's motivation for saying something, then you kind of know. And anyone who says, I don't do this, I support women, you know they are the biggest one, the biggest culprit, because there's never, ever been a time where someone who says, I don't do this, that they didn't do that. Even I do it, not as strong, but I will say, she's got tattoos. Don't look at her like that. You know what they say. Here's the studies. I'll say that. Yeah, keep your eyes on me, honey. Right? We're all a little bit feeling it out. Now, if I have a good friend and I need to tell her something, in private, never ever in public, because you never ever shame a friend publicly. But take them to the side and say, you know what? I think we're done here with these tattoos. I think you don't need the face tattoo. I think we're good. I think you've gotten over the death of your 5th dog, and we don't need to put Toby's name across your face. I think we're fine. I don't think he wants this. I don't think his little puppy grave that he wants you to put his name on your face. That's all I'm saying, right? So if you're a good friend, tell them in private, do not do this. And anyone who tells you you do not need to show signs of health is jealous of you. And that's okay, because it is what it is. Everybody's trying the best that they can. And yes, they're trashy because they're a sign of you went through a mental health crisis. That's all it is. And you can look up the studies. They just came out. Other people have done tons of streams on them. Look up tattoos and mental health. Go to PubMed. You'll see it is there. So we already know about this. And the same thing with short hair. I think short hair was associated with the mother wound. I believe that's what it was. Short hair, hate your mother, something like that. I don't know what we're talking about here, but okay. Oh my gosh. Everybody does a little bit. Like, if you're married and some chick shows her boobs, you just might occasionally like slip into your husband, didn't she sleep with your friend the other day? Or whatever, whatever. You might slip it in. Even the best of us, the best people still do it because it is what it is. Now, if you're very close, right? If you're very close, you want the best for them. But that's like so rare. Most people are frenemies or acquaintances. Let's be honest. Most female relationships are acquaintances or frenemies. There is maybe like a 1/10 of 1% that are friends. And their friends is you can't say anything negative and they can't say anything negative about you. And your conversations are never talking about other people. They're always talking about how are you or whatever, or what's going on. When are we going to hang out? When are we going to hang out? Let's hang out. Let's hang out. Let's do something. Let's do something. Let's hang out. Whatever. Or whatever. Fun stuff. Not about other people. You're not trying to compete. Everybody's happy. And you're usually on the same level. Like my BFF, she is equally as hot, equally as happy, equally as like, good family life, good kids, good everything. Now I know my husband thinks she's attractive, but I'm not jealous because I'm like, what's the difference here? It's the same thing. It's like if I had a twin. It's like, okay, great. You think she's hot. Well, so am I. So we're the same. It's different. There's no difference on the scale. Plus, she's happily married, so good luck. So that's how you know you have a good friend. If somebody says they're hot, you go, yeah, they are. And that's so rare for women to say. It's really, really hard. Anyways, but be safe out there, guys. And remember, we're all just animals trying to get along. Yes, and there's always going to be someone hotter and younger and whatever. But you shouldn't be competing with younger people. Like, you should be settled. By the time we're old, we should be settled. We should be out the game so that we can like look from afar. And we can have like good grandma, big sister energy. Like, I hope you guys are having fun over there. Good luck, guys. It looks like a mess. I hope you guys enjoy your mess. But yeah, it is. Which song is that? I don't remember. I know the band, but I don't remember their songs. Anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will see you all next time. Bye. Oh, yeah, that one. I cannot play that, but you guys look it up. You guys know the song. Bye.
The carbon they want to reduce is you and everyone you love. Stop acting like you have no clue. Pretending